Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to attempt a bouquet in a vase this time, and I do want to mention beforehand it did not come out as planned. This hasn't happened to me before, but the background showed through so much on the vase that it gave it different shades. So you might want to go ahead and outline your vase first and then paint the background around it. I haven't been doing that. It's just easier for me to paint the background and then add to it. So it's probably the paints. They're on the cheaper side, so they just didn't cover well enough. So I did want to mention that before we start the whole fun video. Other than that, it was great. It was fun. Especially right here, I'm just flipping and flapping the brush, different angles. I don't want it all one color, one shade. I don't want it flat. So I was using a blue, and then I had white paint. And I was mixing, a little bit here and there, and just trying to cover up the background. It's kind of on the thicker side, even though this isn't thick bodied, but I think it's just kind of old. So I was having to add some water to it to get it to really cover well. And then when I get most of it covered, because I know the vase and the flower is going to be there, I just start, making some little marks with the edge of the brush with the white. And then I want to bring in some darker shades also with the same blue. It's just not mixed with white this time. And I just keep doing it until I feel satisfied that there's enough, lights and darks so that it's not just a flat background. And you just quit when you feel right. So now I am sketching out the vase. Like I said, if I'd have known the background was going to show through so much, I would have waited. So don't take the chance. Just go ahead and sketch it out, and don't paint that part in, because you never know with your paints. But since this is a journey, I don't mind. I can go back and fix it if I want to, but I don't mind having a vase with different shades of blue and different shades of burnt sienna on it. Maybe the pottery person made it that way, I don't know. So I'm gonna leave it, just for fun. Like I said, this is my journey. So excuse me. Here I'm just sketching out where I want the flowers. I didn't used to do this, and then I never had room for everything I wanted to paint. So I'm learning to go ahead and sketch out where I want things to go first. I could have used pencil. I've done that too. But I said, what the heck, let's just do it like these professionals do and use the paint. You can just fill in your whole flower and then add your petals later. And the petals are made by just commas. But I want to practice my commas, so that's why I'm just filling it in with commas instead of just getting a big old flat brush and painting it in. What I don't cover, I will eventually cover with the different paints that I'm going to use. And here I'm just marking where I want the center to be so I know which way to face it. Otherwise, they'll all face the same way for me. So here we go. We are starting to layer, and that's what this is all about. I'm not overthinking where I'm putting these commas. That's what I'm going to call them. Brush strokes, I'm just trying to make it look like it's going round and round. Let your eye float and make it look like it's a flower. And I'm leaving spaces because I'm also going to fill in with different colors. I'm not sure, I've got like the pink, I've got like 3 dark reds. I'm going to add in like yellows and burnt siennas, and then of course white to highlight everything. So this is just the fun part. I am not taking any time. I am just swoosh, swoosh, trying to make sure I cover up the background. As you add more layers, you're putting the brush strokes on top of it, so some get buried, because right now it'll look like, oh, that yellow is just standing out, but some of those brush strokes are going to get, covered over, but at least you'll see some of it peeking through. So you're getting, all this dimension going on, and it's cool. That one flower right there that I'm working on, that looked like an eyeball until I just painted it. I was just noticing that. Yeah, let's paint over that. I don't want no freaky eyeball looking at me. Woof. And on the yellow, you can see I didn't make a nice comma, but this is whimsical, this is abstract. I didn't sweat it. It'll get covered. It could have been a broken petal for all I know, wind damage. So a heavy butterfly could have landed on it. I don't know. See? You just painting through it. It could get covered up with a leaf later on. The idea of this is just to free yourself from that perfection. We're not making realistic flowers. We're giving illusions of flowers. So once you start doing it, believe me, it's like I couldn't do it a couple years ago, and I switched over to different crafts, and all of a sudden, I'm watching more videos. I was like, okay, let's give it another try, and boom. Not all the brush strokes go in the right places, but you can see, you can fix it, you can wipe it off, it gets covered over, you'll never know. I made a big blob with the white, and you just do it until you're satisfied. I'm surprised that I'm not overthinking it, because I am a perfectionist. So normally it would have drove me crazy. It's like, well, is this perfectly in this position? And I didn't even look for that. I just, okay, this feels good. So you will get to that point. Believe me, you will get to that point. So what have I been doing this like month and a half now, and I'm already at that point, and I've been trying to do a page every day. So practice, I guess, does improve your hand skill, your brush skill, your motor skills. Even though I've always fought against that, I don't want to practice, I just want to make. So I'm diving into the leaves. I don't know what I was doing here, but there's some leaves that have edges, and I didn't know how to do that, so I just did it this way. It looks like it has edges, ridges, maybe that's what the word is. Normally I just do these kind of leaves where it's just one big stroke, or 2 C's, or 2 commas. Yeah, they're more commas than C's. And it's as simple as that. It depends on how hard you push on your brush. Here I'm just dabbing, and the leaves are, boom, it's got a point on one end and a roundness on the other end. And I'm not overthinking it. So I say it so many times, the fun thing is these aren't realistic leaves and flowers. So whatever comes out, embrace it, enjoy it, laugh at it like I do. So I'm going to be adding different shades to the leaves. I like to add 3 or 4, different shades, just to give it dimension, just like the flowers, make them whimsical, some light greens, some dark greens. I'll throw in yellows. I might even throw in a blue, just, for fun. So here is the disaster. And I thought I sped it up to like 8 times, well, 6 times, because I spent way more time than I should have. But the paint is not covering. Later on I tried gesso, and that helps a little bit, but then that lower half just comes out way darker than the top half. And like I said, maybe the light is shining from above, so the shadow is going to be on the bottom of the vase. Hey, see, that'll work for me. Because I don't put highlights where any light should be. I just, that involves too much thought for me. If I was doing a realistic picture, yes, I would definitely have to think through all of that. But thinking hurts my brain, so I just put the highlights wherever. And that is what I love about, doing these art journals and non-professional portraits and paints and images. I don't know what you call these things. It's just fun stuff for me. And I take my time. This was over an hour, maybe hour and a half-ish. It probably would have been less time if I didn't spend, 30 minutes probably on the vase. But I'm in a hurry. I had my music playing, and I just had fun trying to see what I can do to fix it. And then I just said, well, that's good enough for me. There we go. Dry the gesso up a bit. Now, if you have any questions, if you want to see anything in specific detail, I am not the best teacher. I'm just having fun and playing, but I will do my best to answer, or maybe, even film it. I wanted to speed this up because I didn't want anybody getting too bored. Like I said, it was over an hour and a half, and I don't think anybody wants to sit through this and listen to me babble. So that's why I've been speeding these up. I think it got it down to like 19 minutes. So that vase really looks bad, doesn't it? It's just so weird. But I'm not going to go back and fix it. There's just no reason to. There's no reason why one half can't be a different color than the bottom half. So here I'm adding, again, different shades of green onto the leaves. I'm trying to think a little bit, okay, the light goes on the top, we'll leave, but that's about the extent of it. I don't want to overthink it. Like I said, I had sap green, I had yellow, I had phthalo green, and here, this little stem, I forgot all about it, so I had add some leaves to it. So there I was just adding in some dark phthalo, and that would kind of help separate the leaves a bit. It doesn't show up that much on camera, but you can see it, in person. And the picture that I have at the end, I don't know why it's not allowing me to post it or attach it face up, so I have to rotate it. But you could still see, I guess, a close-up image of the finished picture. KindMaster is just weird, I guess. So here I'm adding, little bitty flowers. I'm using like 3 or 4 shades of reds. I've got pink, I've got dark red, light red, a medium red, and I guess they're kind of acting like the baby's breath would. I'm using it to add more interest, more color, cover up, blank spaces. And I just have a little filbert brush, and I'm just dabbing. Nothing's precise. Some places I have, a big old dollop of paint. I'm not waiting for it to dry. I'm not washing my brush out. I like the fact that it's going to blend into each other. I'm just letting, what pleases my eye. I'm now counting, brush strokes. I'm not trying to hit every single, cluster or every single petal with the same colors. If I get close, that's great. But it's just dab, 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 dab. Yeah, that's why I pointed. I was just like, oh my God, that's such a different shade. What's going on? So I try to touch it up some more, and I was trying to make it lighter, because that's the aquamarine blue that I'm using, but it just made it really, really dark. I could always go over it with black. That would definitely make it all, match. But then I'd have to do something with the yellow. And the more I mess with it, the more I'm going to mess up the lines, So, why bother? It's fine. So, let's see what I'm working on next. Oh, I decided to paint that black. It could have been blue, but I figure why mess with the blue? Plus, the flowers are creating shade, so it should be dark under there. So I painted it black. And that works for me. I couldn't mess that up too much. Here, that blob has been bothering me. I went ahead and went over a little bit. And I try rubbing it off with the wet paintbrush and dabbing up with the Q-tip, but it started tearing up the page. So I went as far as I could, and then I couldn't remember if that was the same red that I had used, but it was close enough. And just kind of like hit it. So, what am I doing here? I know at one point I add more to make it more bushy. And then of course I've got to do the 3 layers, of the different colors. There I'm adding more, because I got the pinks going out. And then hitting it with the white highlight, and I didn't want to hit everything with the white, because then everything would be white. It would just be overwhelming. I've done that before, so I made a conscious effort not to hit every petal with the white this time. Otherwise it would have been baby's breath, right? So I've got an acrylic paint pen there, and I'm just going over the edge because, I couldn't get it perfect. And that way I hide the boo-boos. And that kind of gives it a different feel. I don't know what kind of a look that makes it. I'm not sure. I'm not good with all the different styles of painting. So here I'm using a gold just to make some highlights in the veins. And there I'm just dabbing black to make like little heads on the flowers. And then I'm just going to touch up the center of I'm assuming they're roses. So that's it, folks. This is another happy adventure. I hope you have fun. I hope you try it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye now.